Thanks, Samantha. Hello, my name is Alan Medina. I'm a staff specialist technical support analyst, and I'm going to talk about resolving common issues in Helix Dashboards. This webinar is to share what we are asked the most in support. Today we will cover date fields, computing the time difference, changing the date format, and using the date picker. We will also cover how to add a hyperlink to a panel, how to set up a drill-through report. So let's get started with our first item. So these are the typical questions that we get about getting the difference between date fields. How can I calculate the difference between two date fields? How can I calculate the difference in second, hours, or days? Let's jump into a demo to get the answer. Okay, to get the difference between two date fields or date time fields, we're going to create a new panel. And for this example, we're going to select Service Management as the query type. And we're going to select SQL. Let me bring an example query that I already have. And I'm going to put it on the canvas. Okay, so this is what we're going to use. We have the incident number, field, the incident status. We have three constants to divide. One is for days, hours, and minutes. What the value is for that is the milliseconds for in days, milliseconds in hours, and the milliseconds in minutes. Okay, we're going to show that as an example, as we're going to use these fields to transform and get the value that we require. Okay, we also have the submit date and the close date, and everything is from the HPD help desk table. Okay, let's jump into table view. So we have more vision of what we're doing. Okay, now to perform this, we're going to go ahead to the Transform tab, and we're going to click on Add Field from Calculation. Okay, in Mode, we're gonna go to the drop-down and select Binary Operation. For the operation, we're gonna select the close date, and we're gonna subtract the submit date. And for this, as we're gonna get the milliseconds, we're just gonna put date difference, date diff in milliseconds. Okay. So we have here the difference in milliseconds between these two date fields. Okay. Now, if we just want to get that in hours or days, we're going to click on Add New Transformation and Add Field from Calculation as well. We're going to select the binary operation again. And now we're going to select the date difference in milliseconds. And we're going to divide them by whatever you guys want, which is days, hours, or minutes. In this case, we're going to select days first. And here we have the value. Okay, date diff in days. Okay, we can also do that for, let's do it, binary operation. We're gonna select, in this case as well, the date difference in milliseconds. We're gonna divide them by minutes. Okay, date diff in minutes. That's it. This is the way we can do it, the easy way. I'm just gonna leave this as an example. This too. And Here you have how many minutes. Okay, so this is the way to do it. This is an easy way of you can achieve date difference for date fields and date time fields. These are the typical questions that we get about changing the date format in panels and dashboards. How can we change the date format? Where can the date format be configured for your panels? What time zone are dates displayed in? Let's jump into a demo to get the answers. Now, how to change the date format in dashboards and in panels. Let's start by creating a new panel as an example. We're gonna select the service management and the query type as SQL. Okay, and we're gonna get query as an example, which is a simple query. It has the incident number, the status, the submit date, and the close date from HPD help desk. Okay. So we're gonna use these two fields. Let's jump into table view. Okay, so we have the data, which is, right now it's on the format year, month, and day. Okay. So let's say that we want to change it to the US format and we want the month, day, and year. This is how we're going to do it. Okay. We're going to go to the right side of the screen and go to overrides. We're going to click on add field override and select fields with name. Now we're going to select the submit date. Okay. Remember what the format is right now. Starts with year, month, and the day. Okay, now we have selected the submit date on the right side. We're going to click on add override property. And we're going to scroll down to standard options. We're going to select standard options unit. Standard options unit, and we're going to choose, we're going to get a drop down and we're going to go to date and time. Now we're going to select DateTime US. Okay, and we have the date and it's going to change. Okay, if you see, the submit date has now changed to month, day, and year. So this is the best way to do it. Also, if you're wondering what time zone your dates are displaying on, this will depend on your profile preferences. Okay, so for that, you will need to go back to the home screen and go to your profile picture and go to preferences. Okay, so we have the home dashboard and here we have the time zone. This is the time zone that you have selected. Okay, all the dates will appear on this time zone configuration. These are the typical questions that we get about using the date picker effectively. How should I configure the date picker? Why is the date picker not working for me? Let's jump into a demo to get the answer. Okay, how to use the date picker effectively. Let's create a new panel and let's create an example by searching in service management and SQL. Let's bring up example query, which has the incident number, incident status, the submit date, and the close date for HPD help desk. Okay. If we're going to look at the data here, we'll be able to see it, but here you have the date picker. If you select anything, let's say for the previous year or the last 5 minutes where there is no data for, you're gonna see no change. So in order for the query to take effect, we need to make reference to this date picker. And we need to add some label into the query itself in order for it to work. Okay, so I'm going to show you how. Here you're going to put the word statement. And this is what we're going to need in order to make reference to the date picker. Okay. As long as we put this in this format, it's going to take effect. Now let's see as an example. We have the 5 minutes and there's no data for the 5 minutes now. But let's say if we put it through last year, now it's going to take effect. And that is how easy we configure the date picker to work. So there is an alternative method. In this case, we're going to use variables in order to use the date picker differently. So we're going to create 3 variables. Okay, I'm going to use it as example. The first one is going to be date info. We're going to do that as a name, as a label, and the description as well. The type is going to be date range. Okay, and that's it for this variable. Now let's create the second one. And for this one, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to create the name as date from. It's going to be a query. The date field, the date label, it's going to be date from as well. And we're going to use it as variable. And this is the query that we are going to use. Okay. This is for the date from only. And we're going to create it. And we're going to go back to variables. And we're going to create the last variable, which is going to be date 2. It's also a query. The label date 2. It's a variable. And let's put the query. Okay, and we have the query here. And we're going to save it. One thing we didn't do on the other one is we're going to set the refresh on time range change. Okay, we're going to go back to the other one, date from, and on time range change. Okay, now that we have the 3 variables, we're going to use them in the report. Okay, also we can disable the date picker, this one, because we're going to use the other one. Let's go to settings and go to general and hide time picker. We're going to disable it and we're going to go back to the panel. Okay, once we do that, we're going to use this specific query as well. But the where is going to be quite different from a similar one. So on the query, on the where, we're going to put the field. And we're going to use the date from variable and the date to. We're going to put the single quote in order for it to appear up here. Once we use it like this, it's going to make reference to it, and we're going to be able to select the data and select the date that we want it from. Be from 1 year to November to 30 or whatever you guys want. Doesn't matter. This is just an example, and it's going to update. These are the typical questions that we get about creating hyperlinks from data. Can a hyperlink field be created like in Smart Reporting? How can I create a hyperlink field to open an incident in SmartT? Let's jump into a demo to get the answer. Okay, to create a hyperlink field, we'll first need to create a panel. Let's connect to Service Management, and let's put a SQL as an example. For this test, we're going to use the incident number and the instance ID from the HPD help desk table. Okay. Let's switch to table. And here we have the information, the incident number, and the instance ID. Okay, and to create this, we're going to use the incident number as the hyperlink field. Let's go to the right side of the screen and let's select Overrides and click on Add Field Override. And on this drop down, we're going to select Fields with Name. And here we're going to choose the incident number. Okay, once we're here, we're going to select Add Override Property. Here on the drop down, we're going to select Data Links. Here you go, Data Links. And we're going to select Add Data Link. Okay, here what you need to do, as an example, I'm going to bring the URL of my environment. So we have, we're going to point this to a SmartT. So this is my URL, and we're going to SmartT app and the incident, and we're going to point to the instance ID using this specific format. This is why we're using incident number and instance ID. Okay, when we open the link, we need the instance ID so we can jump into that incident number. Okay, so we're gonna just use this URL. We're gonna save it, and there we go. Now, if you see at the bottom left side, you see that the URL has been created as we wanted. Now you can click on it, but my user doesn't have access to SmartT. That's why we get this, but this is how you are going to create it in a successful way. These are the typical questions that we get about creating drill-through reports. How can we set a drill-through report? Drill-through report is not working. What am I doing wrong? Let's jump into a demo to get the answer. Now let's create a drill-through report. Okay, let's start by creating first the parent report. Let's create a new panel. Let's connect to Service Management, Form, and let's select the form HPD Help Desk. For columns, we're gonna go ahead with Company. Let's add 2 more fields, which are going to be incident number, description. Okay, let's change the alias as well for those fields. And we're going to also add a join. Let's join the TMS task form. Okay, and let's select inner join. And how the join is going to be configured, we're going to use the incident number and the root request ID field. Okay, this is how the join is going to be created. Now let's add a calculated field. The one that we're going to select should be number of tasks. Okay, we can also change the alias for it. Okay, now let's go to the Transform tab. We can go to the Organize fields. And we can change the number of tasks in order to show as task count. Okay, let's switch to table. And here it is. Let's change the panel title to Parent Report. Let's apply it. And let's save it. Parent Report Webinar. And let's save it. Okay, let's edit the parent report again. And for visualization, instead of table, we are going to select BMC cross tab. Okay. In order for this to work, we're going to add another field. But this one is going to be TMS task status. Okay, we're going to go to transform. And this is going to be task status. Okay, on the right side, we're going to scroll down all the way to fields. And we need to sort them here. On row fields, we're going to drag company, incident number, and the description. For column fields, we're going to use status. And for the value field, we're going to use number of task. And we're going to click on apply. We're just going to open it again and save it. And apply. Okay, now let's create the child panel. Let's create a new panel. Service management. And this is going to be from TMS task. Okay, for columns, we're going to select task ID. And let's add other 3 fields. Should be summary, status, and root request ID. Let's go to the panel options, and we're going to put child task report webinar. And let's click on apply. Let's switch it to table view in order to see the data. Now we need to create the variables in order to create the connection between the parent and the child dashboards. For that, we will go to the settings dashboard icon. And we will need to go to variables. Okay, let's create the variable. For the name, we're gonna put it as inc task link. Okay, we're gonna use the same for the label, incident task and link. The description is gonna be link between incident and task. Okay, and for the query, let me bring it. The data source is going to be BMC Helix, and the query is going to be the root quest ID from task. Okay, we're going to update it, and it shows the values. And we have the variable created. Let's add a new variable. Now this one is going to be task status. I'm going to put the same for the label. The description is going to be to refer the task status. For task status, and the query, let me bring it. It's going to be this one. Select this thing, TMS task status from TMS task. We're gonna update it. There we go. Now the second one is created. Okay, now let's go back. And you can see that in this panel, they're already there, but they are not working yet as they have not been referenced yet. Okay, so let's save it. Now, from the child panel, let's go back. Let's go to the child one. Let's edit it. And from here, we're going to toggle the where clause. What we're going to put is the root request ID should be equals to the $, inc task link. We are going to add another where and TMS status is going to be to $, task status. Now save the dashboard and close it. Make sure that you copy the URL of that dashboard before you close it. Okay, once you close it, go to the home and let's open the parent report. Okay, we have it here. So let's open the parent report. Let's edit it. And let's go to the right side and let's look for data links. Here on data links, you're gonna copy that URL and we need to modify this URL. We need to modify the values for the variables. In this case, is the insta link. And this is what we're going to put. We're going to erase that. We're going to put $, brackets, and inside that we're going to put incident number. Incident _ number. And we're going to do the same thing for the task status. And this one is stage. I put $, brackets, and status. Okay, that way it's going to make reference to the variables. We're going to click the open in a new tab, and we're going to save it. Now on the parent report, you're going to see that we have clickables, we have hyperlinks in the results, and if you click on it, it's going to open the child report on a new tab, and you'll be able to see the data. This is the summary of the topics we cover. We learn how to resolve the common issues and requests shown below. Here you can find our best resources of the topics we review, and where you can find also more information and answers for Helix Dashboards. This is all that we have for you today. We really hope that you enjoyed this webinar, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you.